Follow us on Facebook at Off Script with Super E Podcast. Also follow us on Twitter at offscriptpod_1. Off Script with Super E recommends listener discretion, as these real but sometimes uncensored stories can be filled with mature content.
Hello, I'm A-Train. And this is Off Script with Super E. Super E, what's happening?
Oh, not too much. Just a lazy Saturday, kind of hazy and overcast.
Yes, absolutely. So what, you got big goings on out there at the homestead?
No, I just have a project every day that seems to consume my time. Like yesterday was, every time I turned the garage light on, the switch, it would flicker and stuff. So I had to take everything apart and try not to electrocute myself.
Yeah. Could you imagine your hair getting frizzed out?
Oh, it happened after I had chemo. They said you might lose some of your hair. No, all it did was, Albert Einstein. It broke off a little bit, but it mostly frizzed.
So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, today I want to talk about my dad, and you could talk about your dad. See, my dad is now 89 years old. And he was the senior Super E. He was a railroader, and he was bigger than life.
Mm-hmm.
And, he worked like 12 hours a day on a railroad and all that. But the amazing thing was, his greatest accomplishment was not murdering me for the stupid shit
That's great.
I did. And it's not like I was out, stealing and stuff. It was just doing dumb shit. And the beginning was, I don't even remember, my cousins, they were like a year older than me, told me about, I did this like at 3 years old. I don't remember it, but apparently my dad went to the butcher's market there in DG and got himself some nice steaks and stuff, and then went out to get something for the grill. And then he comes back in, and I'm feeding his T-bones to the dog. And say, Daddy, the dog's... So he has a head explosion, number one. But the one I do remember that made his head explode, this was back in the day when, you didn't have trash bags. You didn't fill you didn't have a trash can in your kitchen, fill up the trash and take it out and throw the trash bag for the trash bin. You had a burn barrel.
Yeah, the old burn barrel. Uh-huh.
You threw your trash in a burn barrel and burned it.
Yeah.
Well, every 4-year-old kid was playing with fire, and nobody really even thought about it,
Yeah.
And so me and my friend Daryl, we come in the house, we're like 4, because at 4 years old, in the early 60s, you could walk around without constant parental supervision. Uh-huh. We could roam the neighborhood. Uh-huh. So when my friend Daryl lived down the street, he comes over, and we see that all the kitchen cabinets, my dad took off the wall and all this, and all the kitchen cabinet doors are off, laying on the floor.
Right.
And he left. And we're 4 years old. Oh, Dad's getting rid of these. Well, let's help him out. I didn't know where he was going. He was going to go get varnish and sandpaper and paintbrushes. So he was revarnishing all the kitchen cabinet doors and the kitchen cabinets.
Okay.
So we gather up all the doors he took off, go to the burn barrel, and light them on fire, and they're burning. My dad comes home from the hardware store with the varnish and stuff and the paintbrush. He goes to my mom, where's the kitchen cabinets? She goes, I don't know. And then me and Daryl walk in, all proud of ourselves. He goes, where's the kitchen cabinet doors? Did you see? He goes, we took care of them for you. You called him Dad. We took care for you, Daddy. Why? What do you mean? You threw them away. We threw them away. We burned them for you. You remember how Sergeant Carter and when Gomer Pyle aggravated him beyond belief, and his head would just start looking like it was ready to explode, like a slow burning volcano before eruption.
Right.
That's what my dad looked like. He was just looking at me. So, shockingly, he didn't murder us then.
Oh my God! So yes, all kids love to play with fire. So I was a super stupid kid. My brother-in-law to this day tells me, he goes, "I didn't think you were going to make it. You were so, I was so stupid." He was like, I didn't think you were going to live to adulthood." Here's a perfect example of that. So we had this doghouse out back. Well, the dog had been dead forever, but the doghouse was still there. So Dad stored gas cans in there, right? So genius little A-Train, he found some matches, so he wants to play with matches. So he hides in the doghouse to play with matches. He didn't see the gas cans in the corner of the doghouse, I guess. What an idiot little kid. So anyway, luckily my mom looked out, saw me playing with matches, runs out, grabs me out of there. She's like, you could have blown yourself up, you stupid little...
I bet you didn't have your Hollywood burn suit on, so you could stagger out on fire.
I mean, it would have... That doghouse would have exploded. I would have just been toast.
Oh, yes.
What a dumb little kid. Yeah. So
yeah, well, and also it's like I didn't stop there because we didn't know. What you see, like I said, my dad would work 12 hours a day at the railroad, and generally, or he would work like 8 to 10 hours, come home, and 8 hours later they would call him in.
Yeah.
So he would come home and immediately know that he has to go to bed without any hassles.
Right.
Okay, now we're like 9 years old. And we didn't use the ladder, but we climbed up to the top of the house.
Okay.
Me, again, it's Daryl. And we see our friend Denny walking down the street. And Denny was a different kind of kid. He was really unbelievably book smart, but didn't like to play sports, but was hilarious. But we thought, hey, you know what? We're up on the roof, and Denny's riding his bike down the street. Let's see if we could hit him. Look, you can tear off this shingle. It's like a frisbee. And we started flinging the shingles at Denny.
You were ripping shingles off your dad's roof.
Dad pulls up in his piece of shit Corvair that he bought from another railroader for $30 and gets out of the Corvair. And so he goes, "What are you guys doing on the roof?" "Hey," I said, "we're playing a game with Denny. We're throwing these shingles at him." I said, "Dad, they're just like frisbees." And he saw me bend down and rip another shingle off. And I threw it at Denny. I said, "See?" Again, the Sergeant Carter silent rage explosion. Then all of a sudden it's gee, blah, 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 get off that. And so we had, back then we jump off the roof.
Yeah.
We're like, "Are you mad about something?"
Oh my
Yes, because now I've got to go up. He had to go up and fix the shingles. I had no clue.
Okay, you were 9 years old. Maybe I wasn't the dumbest kid in the world.
Maybe. Okay, I was 8. Does that make it any better?
I mean, a little, not much. Holy shit. Did he beat you senseless?
No, okay. The one time I remember, I did get I did get a spanking. Okay. Go rewind back to 1968.
Yeah.
And we had discovered on the clothesline pole, we had 2 clothesline poles with the long clothesline, and we had a pear tree, and we cut a bicycle inner tube in half. And I'm like, wait a minute. I could make a giant slingshot. I tied each end to the clothesline and just reached over and grabbed a pear, and we were firing them 4 or 5 houses down the block. That's how strong. Anyways, my sister's friend comes over to visit, and she brings her little sister who was in my grade. Okay. And so they see me messing around with this slingshot, and they knock on the window and wave at me. For some reason, I thought, I'm just going to joke around with him. I picked up an empty Coke bottle, because you just drink a Coke bottle, throw it on the ground. God. I picked up the Coke bottle, and I acted like I was going to shoot it at him in the window. No, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think it would go more than 3 feet. I let go. It became a heat-seeking missile. Coke bottle. It went blasting through that window. They're all diving for cover.
Oh, no.
It's like a towering inferno. And what do you do as a little kid when you know you've done something wrong? I hopped on my bicycle, and I made tracks down the street to the wooded area at the end of the block. And I'm sitting there, and then I can see my dad. He pulls up, and he's driving this was a 64 Ford Falcon. He drives up, and I can see him getting out. He's like whistling, doop 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 doop, off work, and he kind of sashays into the house. Don't have to do nothing. Blah blah blah. Goes in the house. 2 seconds later, blah 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 blah. He comes running out, jumps in his car because my sister, who turned into Henry Hill from Goodfellas, she said, "Look what my brother did." And by the way, he's hiding out down the street on his bike. My dad gets in his car, and it must have had positive traction because I could hear 2 tires squealing. He sees me, comes screaming down the street, jumps out of his car, rips me off the bike, and I got the spanking. Get your ass home! And I was like, okay. So I go home. And I was like, oh.
You did like every criminal we've ever encountered when they do something wrong.
Yes.
Run. So you blasted this window out with a Coke bottle. Right. Anybody get cut?
Thank God, no.
Oh my God.
Yes. But then okay, I tried to calm the stupidity down. Mm-hmm. But one time, we were all in the living room, wintertime. My dad was smoking a pipe then. He smoked cigars and pipes. Uh-huh. And he's smoking a cigar. He's smoking his pipe, and he's trying to relax. And we're probably watching whatever TV show was on at the time. It might have been Maude. And God, I was, back then, used to lay on the floor and watch TV. Kids don't do that now.
Yeah.
Well, I had a blanket. I picked it up, and all of a sudden, I decided I was going to become like David Copperfield. And I started whipping the blanket around like I took it off a table, and all the Chinaware was still there. But I remember I took this blanket, and I just went zip. And the end of it, the end of the blanket hit my dad's pipe.
Oh my God.
And flipped the contents up in the air. All these burning embers landed on him. And he jumped up and goes, damn it. And so he's like trying to put it out. So I'm like 13 or 14. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to. And then I think the last time I really drove him crazy, I might have been 18, and we had a back gate. My dad would park his car in the backyard, and he'd walk up the side of the house, and there was a side gate that would go to the front door. And this gate was attached to 2 wooden posts. Well, I'm going to say name Daryl, and usually after it, I did something stupid. Well, Daryl was very good at running and jumping all this shit. Well, he says, hey, I got to go home. And he starts running towards that gate. And all he did was, there was like the side door porch steps. On that bottom step, he ran up to that, jumped off that porch step, and launched himself over this extremely tall metal gate.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, that was impressive. And I said, I think I should do that, and I should try it. Because I'd been lifting weights and thought I was a stud now. Mm-hmm. But my jumping ability didn't improve that much with the weightlifting. So I got a running start. And I kind of bailed out because I didn't think I could do it. So I just go full Bobby Orr right into this gate. And the gate, it breaks the 2 wooden posts that it's hinged on each side.
Oh, God.
Down to the ground. Well, I'm like, oh, shit, that's not going to like this. What did I do? I picked the gate up because you know how when you break a piece of wood in half, you can put it back together. Uh-huh. So I did that. So I'm sitting in the front part of the house, and Dad's coming home from another hard day's work. And I could hear him because he would whistle. And I'm sitting at that window right where the gate is. And he touches the gate, and I see that it just falls forward and lands on the ground. And he's standing there with his hand out like he was trying to open the gate. and he doesn't get mad. He just screams, "Super E!"
Because he knew who did that.
So again, I could hear him bump, 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 to the front door of the door. Because, did you have anything to do with the MF gate falling forward on me? I said, why do you think I did it? He goes, well, did you do it? I said, yes, but it hurts my feelings that you automatically think of me. Because whenever something stupid happens around here, you get your fingerprints all over it. So my dad then had to go get metal posts, dig the holes, put the cement in it, and put the back gate up.
Did you at least help him, I hope?
Yes, I helped him.
Okay.
But now when I look back on all this stuff, and I'm leaving some things out that, that'll pop up later, I just am so thankful that my dad was able to contain his energy or temper to not want to eliminate his biggest aggravation.
I'm telling you what, he deserves a Pulitzer Peace Prize. No, Nobel Peace Prize. A Nobel Peace Prize, because for him not to have killed you over some of those, he's a saint.
Yes.
Now, I have a question that I know all the listeners want to know the answer to. Did you eat a lot of paint chips as a kid?
No, there was no paint chips, but okay, my mom was an artist, self-taught artist. And I did get kind of in trouble for this. Now, remember, I'm like 4, and I had a friend down the street. She was a very sweet little girl. And we got my mom's paint set out, and I completely painted her entire body in oil paint.
You painted the little girl in oil paint?
I got an oil paint.
Oh, God.
And she had oil paint all over her, and she thought she looked cool. She goes home to show mom and dad. And what did I hear? Bum, 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 bum. Her dad was furious. She's covered in oil paint.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Oh, Super E. Super E.
I know. And then the one time I embarrassed my mom, my same little girlfriend, her name was Debbie, by the way. I loved her, but she moved away. Her mom comes down, and I guess she was the neighborhood busybody.
Okay.
And I was listening to my mom. You know how women talk. And so then my friend's mom
sexist would say.
Yes. So her name was Pat. I thought she was very, very nice. So Pat comes down to visit my mom, and my mom says that all of a sudden I came, from getting done playing with my Tonka toys, and I walk up to Pat. I go, Pat, my mom says that you're the smartest person she knows. She says you're very smart. And Pat was like, really? She looks at my mom. Thank you. So what makes you say that, little Super E? She goes, well, I think you must be super smart because my mom says you know everybody's business in the neighborhood. That's my mom. My mom did the Larry Tate spit take from Bewitched. She was taking a drink.
Oh, that's great. Oh, God, you were a menace.
I was the dentist menace to society, yes.
Jeez, really? God. Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it to adulthood, and I did too. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yes. All the stupid things that I did, and you almost blew up the doghouse.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost blew myself up. Yeah. Oh, my God. Stupid kids. So. Yeah. All right. Well, that was very, very entertaining. I hope Mr. and Mrs. Super E enjoy it. And again, I think they should be nominated for sainthood, but that's just me.
Exactly. So I hope everybody enjoyed a little peek into my childhood.
Wow. Yes. Just a little peek. All right. Okay. Well, we're gonna close this one out, and we're gonna come back with something else.
All right. 2-4.
All right. See ya. Bye.
See ya. Bye.